Last time on American Explorer, I explored El Salvador, the smallest country in Central America, and discovered it was big on adventure. The ancient ones named it the Land of Special Places, and that it was. After 10 straight weeks on the road, my exploration of Central America has revealed a fundamental commitment to conservation, with scores of local grassroots programs working to make a difference throughout the region. This week, I crossed the border into Honduras to explore one such program on the small tropical island of Utila, where a team of volunteers are fighting to preserve the majestic whale shark. I'm on the island of Utila exploring the research and conservation efforts to protect the largest fish in the sea, the majestic whale shark. And later, when archaeologists discovered the ruins of a lost Mayan city here in Honduras, they uncovered the remnants of an ancient city unique to the rest of the world. We head south to explore the ruins at Copan. My name is Keith Newberg. I'm an explorer, and I live for adventure. I grew up dreaming of exploring distant lands. Now, not only do I get to live out those fantasies, I get to take you along for the ride. Let's just say I'm on a non-stop adventure quest. My latest journey of discovery has led me here to the wilds of Central America, a land where the road ahead is paved with endless mystery and mind-blowing wonder.
Exploration leads to discovery as American explorer Keith Newberg chronicles his epic journey through distant lands and exotic places, immersing himself in foreign cultures while exploring a fantasy land of lost roads. And wild adventure.
The whale shark is the largest shark in the ocean, reaching lengths of 20 meters and weighing more than 20 tons. These majestic creatures are the gentle giants of the sea. On this episode, I catch up with the Deep Blue research team on the tiny island of Utila to learn more about these amazing animals and what's being done to protect them.
It was here in Utila about 7 years ago, and I was working for a dive company as a dive guide basically, and a whale shark came along and I was meant to be looking after all the customers, helping them in. That went out the window. I was the first guy in there, mask, snorkel on. From that day onwards I was hooked. It's the best job in the world.
His love for diving soon led to a passion for the majestic whale shark, and he's been working to preserve these gentle giants ever since.
Once I'd seen them, I found out how kind of endangered they were, how little we knew about them. And straight away I wanted to find out about them, where they were going, what they were doing, and what we could do to help. The thing is, up until the early 1980s, there had only been just over 300 recorded sightings. In Jacques Cousteau's lifetime, he only managed to see 2 whale sharks in all the time that he spent on the ocean. This is why it's so exciting. There's such an discovered fish.
Thanks to Steve's passion and hard work, this tiny island now serves as a nerve center for a larger global conservation effort. Whale shark experts, marine biologists, scientists, and volunteers from around the world gather here to study whale sharks and share information on the latest data and research technology.
Well, it's absolutely great because the guys in Mexico, for instance, they are arranging this year the second International Whale Shark Conference. So there'll be people from all over the world. And again, that actually builds closer collaboration between all the countries. We can learn from all the other countries, the things that they do, and it's all of us getting together and actually learning, which is great news for the whale shark.
To see a whale shark up close and personal is an unforgettable experience. Unfortunately, the same gentle grace and enormous size that make the whale shark so fascinating have also made it susceptible to human exploitation.
We know we're affecting the oceans. We know over the years that we've put many, many chemicals in there, and we've changed certain things, even from deforestation, runoff into the oceans. At the moment, we still have no idea what effect this will have on the whale sharks.
These gentle giants face many challenges in their fight for survival, and scientists agree that a greater understanding of this mysterious animal is needed if we hope to protect it.
When we first saw the whale sharks, we were just awed. It was just such an experience to be in the water with them. And we started to look on the internet because we wanted to know more about them. and there wasn't anything. This is the largest fish in our oceans, and there is nothing about them on the internet, very, very little. We wanted to find a way to find out more, and Steve in fact came across the Ecocean site. At the time, the only data that was in the database was from Ningaloo Reef in Australia. And so we contacted them and said, look, we have whale sharks here, how can we help? We were excited by the fact that if you did put in a photo into the database, that you got feedback. And if the whale shark was seen again, then you would again get an email. So you might get an email 3 years later to say, remember that whale shark that you saw in Utila? We've now seen it again in Mexico. Last year, for the first time anywhere in the world, the same whale shark was tracked through 3 different countries. Here, Belize, and then Mexico. 3 years ago now, there was only 1 country in the database, Australia. Now, nearly 30 countries that are now entering data.
It was originally designed for the Hubble telescope as a star recognition pattern. And what it does, it basically draws triangles between the spots, and whichever way the whale shark moves, those triangles will stay the same. So what we can do is take a photograph and then match it on a computer program to see if it matches up with a shark that we've seen before or if it's a new shark.
In addition to the work being done by Ecocean, the Deep Blue research team has implemented a new tagging program that will provide valuable information to researchers around the world.
This is the actual receivers that we have put on strategically on different banks, where in the area where we see the whale sharks, which on Utila is usually on the southeast side, northeast side. That's mainly where we see them. So it goes from here to Belize, from Belize to the Yucatan Peninsula, to Hobart, near Hobart, Mexico, and near Isla Mujeres and all there. And we have some in the flower gardens of Texas. We have the actual tag that we're going to place on the whale shark. It's acoustic tagging. It's made of a plastic alloy, and you can see there's a little magnet. There's a little magnet on it. When we take the magnet off, then it activates it basically. It's made of titanium, so it's not detrimental to the animals. I mean, humans have titanium parts, and body doesn't reject it. And this is what goes into the creature. And when you think that it has from 12 to 15 centimeters of skin, we're pretty minimal invasive. And the way we put it on the right side, down from the dorsal, very streamlined with the animals. To actually get the tag on the animal, this is a pole spear. So it's not a spear gun, it's a bit more of a slingshot kind of idea. We place the tag at the tip of it. What I do is just have the lanyard, so we're in 3,000 feet of water, and then I just spring it, and all I do is release it, and that tags the whale shark. So there's 2 of us, 1 person's doing the photo identification from the gills, the proper photo identification for Ecocean.
And you're locked and loaded.
I am, absolutely, yeah. Trying to tag the right creature in the water.
And how long is this encounter, usually?
About a minute.
Yeah.
That's all we need anyway. If the whale shark's there longer, more power to us.
Scientists say that acquiring more information about whale sharks is critical.
Well, fortunately, with the aid of new technology, we're advancing at big steps. 3 to 4 years ago, we can say that a pretty small part of the whale shark knowledge was still in the process. But little by little, unfortunately, by collaborating with some other places where they are doing similar research and knowing that part of the animals, if not the whole, are being shared these locations. So they are visiting, for example, here Utila as well as Belize, as in Mexico. This is very important for us being here because the first animal that was being spotted or sighted off Mexico was here in Utila, and that was 60 days after we tagged that animal in Mexico in 2003. That repeats again in 2006, so it's a good connection in between.
I think it's very, very important that people like divers begin to take the lead in conservation and help with conservation. We're the guys, the divers, the snorkelers, that sees what is happening under the ocean. And we've seen the changes over the years. It's time, I think, for all of us to stand up. People that kind of live in the countryside somewhere, they don't see the oceans. It's up to us. It's time we stand up and do something.
After spending time with the Deep Blue research team here on Utila, one thing is clear: the future of the whale shark remains uncertain. But thanks to the efforts of conservation groups like EcoOcean, Deep Blue, and others, we can forecast calm waters ahead for the gentle giants of the sea. The whale shark is one of the largest animals on the planet, but not the largest. See if you can guess which of these animals holds the title as the world's largest animal. We'll check in a little later to see how you did. The highlight of any trip to Honduras is a visit to the Mayan ruins of Copan. So for me, it's back to the mainland and back on the road again. My next stop is a 3-hour drive south to Copan, one of the most impressive ancient Mayan cities ever discovered. Archaeologists like to say that if Tikal is the New York City of the ancient world, then Copan is Paris. The intricate sculptures and detail in the artwork here is unparalleled anywhere else in the Mayan world.
Copan is full of images of gods, kings, and everything. It has all the buildings are beautiful, decorated. I was amazed by the beautiful art, but then I thought, what does this mean? So then I saw the need to go to former studies to know who the Maya were, what time did they live, what they did, what they ate, the whole culture. Copan developed the highest style in sculpture, in stone sculpture, the round sculpture, the 3D sculpture that we don't find in any other site. It's just Copan is famous for that cultural feature.
So was it the artists that were specific to this area that created the advances?
Right. I think so.
Yeah?
I think so, yeah. Copan had great sculptures. Right behind us is Temple 26. Temple 26 has the remains of another important ruler of Copan, the 12th ruler. In the history of Copan, we know that he was a very important ruler because it was during his time that Copan really took off. It expanded geographically and territorially and got other centers like kind of subordinated under Copan's kingdom. So he expanded Copan's polity.
Copan is renowned for producing some of the most impressive surviving artwork from ancient Mesoamerica. While exploring the city, you'll find these elaborately decorated stone sculptures, which today serve as a testament to the skill of the local artisans of the day.
We have little sculptures in there. The main sculpture was representation of the human Christ man. You see there?
So this would have been his home,
What's here? Mm-hmm.
and that's representative of what he did for a living.
He's between the mouth, the big mouth of the snakes.
Great example of how they used, the first layer, the base, with the natural stone, and then they covered it with this more decorative
The main face.
base stone.
But some of these places, only the nobles, they can walk here in this area, in these places. It's very special.
In between residences.
In between, yes, this is one entrance here to the one home. There's another one entrance. You
This
see?
would have been stuccoed?
There was a stucco, yes.
Stucco floor covering,
You see here?
which obviously didn't make it.
Here probably was some steps, But probably at the time of the people, they take some of these stones and they put it on another side. But there was steps. This is for the entrance. That's the entrance.
So this was the first layer, and on top of that layer of rubble.
But what happened there is this stone is natural.
But that was your base right there.
On top
And then they
probably
added
was
the
some
decorative
steps.
layer, which they would have painted red.
Reds.
Red.
And the best times was like 20 to 27,000 people. That's the population in Copan. And this area, the area was at 24 square kilometers. And the last time of Copan was a lot of population, contaminations, deforestations. Where was the food for 20,000 people? They cut the mountains, the forest. They need a lot of wood when they cook the limestone. When they do the stucco, they need a lot of woods. They cut the mountains for agricultures. And the last time the river was no water, no rain, no food. One of these, Copan was abandoned.
Back in the day, was this cleared out?
Probably, in one time,
This is the building that was destroyed by the river?
Yes, the river destroyed this. Here is still one half side. The other side, the main side, they destroyed.
There's the river now. This
over
is
there.
the
Sorry?
previous river right here?
Yes.
Ran right here
He
and,
was-
and destroyed the front of this building.
It was the
Flooded.
Copan River.
When did that happen? When did the river take this out?
Checks, when the Mayans disappeared, when Copan was abandoned.
When they abandoned this area, it was a period of drought. Why would the river have raged so?
Probably the original side of the river was from here. When the Mayans people come from here, they change the rivers. When the Mayans disappeared, the river back to the natural side.
So after this happened, this occurred after the exodus of
Yes.
Copan.
There was residential area of common peoples. You remember, and this side of the river was for nobles, and another side is the Copan River. You remember, between of this in front, we can see the Copan River.
Right. And you would have seen thousands of wooden residences up in that
There.
area. Today, the ruins of Copan are testament to the enduring legacy of the ancient Maya. And while exploring the hallowed grounds of this lost city, I discovered the spirit of a once thriving Mayan culture still remains. So what are these buildings up here?
That was for dressing rooms. This is the ball court of the ball game, you know? Then rooms on top was for dressing rooms.
They had their own locker room.
Locker rooms. They play the game between all those buildings.
So this was the court.
The court, yes.
How did they play?
When they play the games, you remember that you use hands, no head and no feet. Use arms, hips, knees, shoulders, everything.
And some type of ball?
When they make the ball, they use rubber the trees, like caoutchouc, you know?
Was it a round ball?
Round balls. This is strong.
How do you know the rules of the game? Is there records of this, or how?
They still play in Mexico.
The descendants of the ancient
the
Mayans
Mayans.
are still playing this game in Mexico. What do they call it?
They call it pocket talk.
Pocket talk. How do you play?
When they play the games, the player, they move between those buildings. When they play the games, they put the ball on top. And before, when the ball touched the floor, they put the ball on another side.
So if the ball would roll, they would start the ball, it would roll down, and then I would try to kick it with my knees or my elbows.
To another side.
To the other side.
Yes.
And how do you score?
Okay, if your ball touches the sculptures of the macabre birds, the head of macabre birds, the points. See 3 head of macabre birds?
Yeah.
If your ball touches the head of macabre bird, there's scores.
So that's how I would score. I would, with my knee or arm.
Arms, hips.
Your head, no?
No heads. Why no heads? The head was heavy.
And I would score if I would hit the macabre bird. Similar to basketball.
Yes. They used one referee when they play the games.
Yeah.
And the referee of the game, he was the priest. You see the sculptures on top? There's the macabre birds. This is the main decoration, the macabre birds. On the base of this, you can see the claws. See the claws? There's still some steps in there. You see the steps on another side?
Yeah.
This is for nobles. They come from here when they watch the game. And there's a lot of steps on the other side, but that was for common people sit. See there?
So it would gather a large audience.
This is for common people, and here was for nobles.
And who would play?
This is the nobles. The nobles, they play the games.
Oh, the nobles would play the game.
It's an honor to play the game.
And would the nobles from Copan play the nobles of another?
Different towns.
Different towns,
Yeah, different
city-states.
Yes. It's an honor to play the game. There is not exactly the sport. This is special. And the last time they do human sacrifice. After the game, they kill one people. Some archaeologists say maybe the most important people die, be honored. It's an honor to die. This building, the date of this building is at 738. This temple, this is for 738, was for the king number 13. His name was 18 Rabbits.
They had their own locker rooms, their own side. That's
Yes,
really
it
cool.
is.
Really cool. Hey, you want to play, man? You got one of those balls?
That's a good
You got
idea.
one of those balls? We can go.
We need to stun balls. Stun.
My exploration of Central America has revealed the enduring influence of a once thriving ancient Mayan culture. The genius abilities of the ancient ones have been well documented, which makes the disappearance of the Maya from this region all the more mysterious. We may never know for sure exactly why the Maya disappeared from Copan, but one thing is certain: as archaeologists continue to uncover centuries of buried secrets here at Copan, more pieces to this mysterious puzzle will be revealed. Earlier, we asked you to guess what animal is considered the largest known animal in the world. If you answered C, blue whale, you are correct. The blue whale is a marine mammal believed to be the largest animal to have ever lived. Their tongue alone is the size of a grown elephant. The blue whale was nearly hunted to extinction until 1966, when the international community decided to protect the largest animal on planet Earth. Honduras is a land of stunning natural landscapes, vast natural resources, and rich biodiversity. Most of the country is made up of lush forests, which are home to more than 6,000 species of plants, 250 reptiles, 700 different birds, and over 100 mammals, half of which are bats. The people of Honduras take great pride in preserving these natural treasures. There are at least 20 national parks or reserves dedicated to preservation, and that's only half of the 16,000 square miles set aside for eventual protection. I have traveled into the backcountry to meet my guide Alberto at one of Honduras's oldest protected areas.
It's gonna take about 30 minutes from here.
On the train, then we're on a boat?
Yeah, it's beautiful, you know, these wild refugees. So,
Yeah,
but I
looking
wanted
forward
to
to it.
show you, this. So this is Michael Douglas.
Yeah, Michael Douglas, sure.
Well, he was here last month, the whole family.
Yeah, they brought their kids here. They're very active in conservation. Maybe that's also why they
That's
came
right.
here. We know where the secret spots are on American Explorer. This charming little choo-choo will take us back into one of the country's most pristine natural environments. Access into the reserve is an adventure unto itself. No problem. Does he need a hand?
No, he's gonna get another battery over there.
You pretty sure it's the battery?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's hot.
As the railway passes through these small rustic villages, you get a true taste of the local culture. Most of the folks around here are farmers. Agriculture is a major part of the Honduran economy, and it looks like we're right in the heart of it. After a 40-minute trip on this cool little train, we arrive at the reserve, along with a very special guest. He probably didn't enjoy the ride as much as I did. Nevertheless, this wild caiman will soon be happy to call this reserve home. Hondurans have a great respect for their natural environment and take great pride in their commitment to conservation. Most consider wildlife the most important natural resource in the country. The locals here have invited me to assist with this important rescue, and I am humbled and honored to accept their offer. This caiman is a close relative of the alligator and is native to this part of the world. You got it, amigo? While it may be hard to distinguish between a caiman and an alligator, if you look very close, you'll notice the skin on the caiman's underbelly is made up of these small bony plates. 8 years old? He's 8 years old. This 6-foot caiman is a youngster who, it seems, has been hanging out in all the wrong places. After receiving reports of an aggressive caiman at large near a community with small children, wildlife officials decided it was best to remove the caiman from the village and relocate it out to this reserve. But first they had to find it and capture it, which I'm told was no easy feat. This will be the 5th croc they've set free here in the preserve in the last 2 years, right? Dos años? 5th? Dos años.
Somebody found this kind of crocodiles around, so some people pulled them, to get in and get them free here, around here. But if they don't, the people kill them because they fear.
We are heading for a location deep within the mangrove forest, which officials believe is currently unclaimed territory. These mangroves are teeming with crocs and gators who have already staked out their own territory. Officials here do their best to find a suitable habitat within the reserve for new arrivals. Setting free a wild animal that otherwise would have been destroyed, well, it gives you one of those warm and fuzzy feelings inside. Certainly, if not for the efforts of these wildlife officials and the local community, this story would have had a much different ending. By the look in his eyes, this guy's gonna need a little time to adjust to his new surroundings.
Your new home. He's home.
Only time will tell if this release has been a complete success. Honduras is a land rich in natural treasures. The people of Honduras know it. Some are fighting to protect it. For me, the experience of giving this wild caiman a second chance at life is one that I will always treasure and certainly never forget. Conservation plays a vital role in the future of our planet. And here in Honduras, the efforts of these passionate volunteer groups should serve as an inspiration to all of us.
For more information on the expedition, visit amxhd.info.